Hello, everyone. Welcome to the potty. I'm doing my pod walks. I'm gonna call them pod walks now. And let's just start with breathing. If you're having a particularly shit day, or whatever your day looks like, let's just take a second. It only takes like a minute, or even less, to just breathe and be present. So breathe with me. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I pause the recording so I can get some of that medicine too. When I guide breathing, I can't breathe with you guys. Not, I mean, it can be done, but this time I wanted to just really be present and guide you all. Right before I decided to hop on here to record and do that breathing exercise, I had a realization, like even through journaling, like my mind is already in the future this morning because of all the things I needed to do today that I had planned for myself yesterday. And so I was already in the future. I started my day in my mind in the future. I wasn't being present. So this morning has been not letting my mind take over by my to-do list, but by taking a step back and being present with what's happening here and right now, because the present moment, the now, is where all the medicine is. That's where we take action and change our future. This is where we heal. Hold on. Forgive the background noise. There's a lot of people that, hold on. Okay, I had to pause a couple times because somebody started using a leaf blower. It's during the day. It's easier to do this pod walking thing during the night when everybody's just in their homes, like getting ready for bed or dinner or whatever they're doing inside their homes. But back to what I was saying. Um, I was being in the future with my mind, and this morning was the practice of stepping away from my mind and not letting my to-do list carry me away from the present moment. And you can do that by sitting down with your meal and really like enjoying the pleasure of the moment. And what I was saying is that the medicine is in the now, in this present moment, where we can take action to build our future, a different future, and where we can heal ourselves from what happened to us in our past. And that happens simultaneously. When you choose to build a different future, you're choosing to step into what is possible for you instead of letting your brain or mind, those thoughts in your mind, dictate and perpetuating your past. Meaning anything that happened in your past, it keeps cycling through and keeps happening. Same energies from your past. Like, it's back to what I was saying yesterday, or the last pod episode, is your brain is a predictive organ. It uses the past experiences to keep you safe. So whenever you feel a trigger in your body, it's because, oh, your brain's like, I remember this. Your brain and your body together is like, oh, I remember this. Your body will say, I remember this similar situation. This sucks. I'm gonna like elicit like a response. It could be fear. It could be sadness. It could be guilt, shame. And then the thoughts come with it. It could happen simultaneously. It could happen right after. Actually, they actually more often than not happen simultaneous, almost instantaneous, if you ever notice it in yourself. And then, because of the way we've been taught to engage with our minds as reality, that we can't step into future timelines or different timelines and new ways of being and step into our best versions of ourselves because our brains, our biology holds us back. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, it's there for a purpose to keep us safe. The times that you get that intuitive hit that like, ooh, this probably is not a good idea. And it really depends. Like, is this not a good idea to keep you small? Or this is not a good idea because something is really going to happen and your intuition is trying to tell you, like, this thing might happen. Like, slow down. I had this instance when I was snowboarding once, and I usually love going super fast and super like, yes, let's go down the mountain. I'm really excited right now. But this was like the time of the season. It was April in Mammoth, and the snow was already like kind of melty, but their seasons go until like June or July. So they have snowboarding almost year round. And where we hit a part of the snow which was melty and it gets really sticky and you can't glide real nicely in the snow. And I like noticed that and I was just like, maybe I should like I could feel it in like my shoulders and my had a little rise in my shoulders and the little hairs were standing on end and it was like, maybe not a time to be brave, but maybe to be cautious. And hopeful, like, I don't want to fall and break anything. I actually need my hands. Like, I don't need to break my wrist. I already have a wrist injury from a long, long time ago. And so I took it slow and still enjoyed myself. So there's a difference. There's a difference between the two. Like, there's the thoughts that perpetuate fear that isn't a true reality. Like, if you have a fear moment and you're like, took a step back and like, you can like breathe into that moment and then think, I'm having really scared thoughts right now. And just look outside of you. Get out of your brain or out of your phone. Most likely it's something that happened from your phone because the algorithm is designed to bring our attention to things that we would get stuck on, and because our nervous system and our biology is attracted to things that scare us to keep us safe, our nervous systems naturally will give more attention to fear-based content. So take a step back, breathe into this moment, and just look around you. Are you immediately in danger? Or is that thing immediately going to happen in this present moment? Is that your immediate, right now, down to the minute and second of this present moment? Is that fear your reality right now? And that's the truth. That is the truth. Being here in the present moment reminds you that the fears that your brain is trying to perpetuate aren't necessarily true. I mean, I want to venture to say it isn't true for most of us. So what do you want to do instead of having that fear thought in your mind? Now that you know that you are safe in this moment, what do you want to do instead with your time in this moment? And that could be anything. Like for me, it took me a long time to get to the point where I felt safe to go walk outside. And now I'm walking outside and I realize nobody fucking walks outside. I mean, like, really early in the morning people do, and then in the evening people do, like, to walk their dogs and stuff like that, but there's not a lot of people walking outside anymore. So, which is crazy, because I remember, like, back in the day, I told you all my age, like, yes, last podcast. Like, I grew up in the 80s and 90s. Like, kids were allowed to be outside. Like, it was normal to be outside. Now it's not normal because everybody's inside, stuck on their phones and scared that the world's out to get them. And I want to say, and another thing that I found really curious is that I live in Southern California. I live in the LA area, LA County. And it's actually really warm outside. But when I stay inside the house, it's fucking freezing cold. It really feels like winter. Like I want to stay in my blankets and hibernate for the rest of the winter. And a part of my to-do list is like, I really need to get my morning walk in. I want to get my morning walk in so that I'm not rushing at the end of the day to make sure I had all the mobility that I wanted to get in the day. At the end of my day, that's ridiculous. It's like insanity. Like, come on. Like, I had all this time in the day. Where'd it go? And now I'm like keeping track of, like, intentionally putting on my calendar, keeping track of what I do in my day. Because I don't schedule things. I just go with the flow. But it leaves me with a calendar that looks really empty. It makes me feel like I'm doing nothing. So now I'm going with the flow with what I feel like I want to do in the day, including the things that I did have planned. And now I'm marking down when I'm doing it and how long I'm doing it for, including the times where I'm like walking, going to the gym, self-care parts. And then and then the last couple of days I realized, like, wow, my actual day is really fucking full. I'm doing a lot of things. I am taking steps every day to do the thing. So back to, it's freezing cold inside my house. So I noticed that freezing cold in my house, and then if I were to go to work, I would hop right into the car, which only takes like 2 seconds. And you might have a split second moment where you're like, oh, it's actually warm, but then you go in your car, and your car has its own like climate. It's either cold, warm, or whatever you set your settings, your cooling settings in your car. So now you have like this cozy, warm body temperature going on. And then you go to work and you're in a building which has its own set thermostat. And I'm like, how interesting it is that if only I knew that my body, like when I got outside, that it's actually not feeling like winter. It feels like summer because Southern California is like that. And my body now is like, oh, I can go out and be active. It's okay. Like, I can go out and do things. I don't feel like I need to hibernate. And this is probably only things that resonate for people who live in climates like these. And I'm just saying, what do you notice when you realize when you're outside instead of being inside all the time, inside things, inside a building, a car, and then another building? I remember when I used to live in the desert, all we ever did was never be outside. I used to live in Vegas, and the gets really hot out there, and that's how people lived out there. That's how I lived out there. I never was outside during the day, and it turned me into a night owl, which really like not great for my circadian rhythm. And and then I did live in a place where there were seasons, and I would go out. I'm a winter baby. I love cold. I love being outside in the cold, and it's really like I know a lot of people might think that that's odd. Sorry, I had to pause. This is like the beauty about being outside. It's like you don't get to you get there's so many things to experience when you're outside of your house, even just in your neighborhood. Albeit I am very privileged to be in a safe neighborhood and I can walk outside. I know other people don't have that luxury, but the people that do. I just came across some ladies who were just like picking up pine cones from the street for decorations for their house, and I fucking love that. This is like the prime of example for how nature provides. All you have to do is pick up Mother Earth provides. Like all you have to do is pick up pine cones for whatever great idea you have for decorations. You don't have to spend money. My whole thing lately has been not being creative through not spending money, like not looking for the answer outside of me, but what do I have right now that I can use my creative juices to make something right now. And I totally forgot what I was talking about before, um, before I paused the recording. So, anywho, and back to how you don't have to spend money. It's so wild what's been coming through. Like when I just connect with people and tell them like, oh, this is like something I need, or this is what I'm like creating at this moment. Like in conversation, I'm not even like looking for an answer. I might be looking for an answer. I might not. I just might be just like sharing my experience. And you'll be surprised when people are like, oh, wait, I have this thing. And I was looking for hypnosis tracks or hypnosis music because I want to make my own hypnosis tracks for Substack and wherever I want to put it. And, oh yeah, I have like this really cool email list offering that I'm a part of with another creator I'm collaborating with. And I asked one of my pals, and he was like, "Oh yeah, like I have these, and they weren't like they weren't they weren't free." So I was just like, I don't know yet. Like I don't know if that's like the right answer for me right now to spend money, especially when I don't know where money is coming from right now. Like I had random moments where I sold a pair of shoes on Poshmark for like almost $2,000, and I was like, that's fucking cool. But it was just like a random off, like one moment thing. And I've been having like little like hits of money coming in here and there. But otherwise I don't have any income coming in. So when I talk to people, like I even reached out to another creator who has these fabulous like hypnosis tracks that I absolutely love. Like it really inspired me to make my own. And she was like, oh, I use this, but here's a free hypnosis music platform. And I was like, oh, perfect. This is what I needed. Brilliant. There's so many free things out there. Mother Nature's not the only one who gives away free things. People give free things away all the time. And what if you were just creative enough to put all these pieces together to make something fucking fabulous? And then I know that I already hear it now. Like, I don't have the time. I don't have the time to do it. I hear you. And this is for people who think they don't have time. And I notice when I get stuck scrolling on my phone, I spend an hour each time when I get stuck in a scroll. That's a whole ass hour. And it's really funny to me when I realize that. Like, I was like, wow, when I look back, reflect on the past hour, it's like, what did I just do this past hour? Because I'm logging in what I'm doing in the day, keeping like a calendar in my diary of what I am doing in the day instead of feeling like I'm not doing shit. Is that I spend at least an hour every time I'm on the scroll. So just something to keep in mind and notice, and maybe take action about it later. But for now, if you haven't noticed where your time goes when you're on your phone, notice it in the moment. And then when you start to notice it, and take it step by step, this is why I'm saying it so slowly and weird, is take it like when that comes to your awareness, then you can finally like, I'm noticing it again, I'm noticing it again. Go through the feelings that might come through, like you might shit on yourself, you might be just like, oh, curious, like that's fascinating, a thing about myself I didn't realize. Or you could be going through like, ugh, I did it again, like, ugh, waste of time. Like, if you can meet it with neutrality, wonderful. Take the next step and take action on doing something differently. And for each person, the way to get past this pattern, the answer will be different. For me, it's been noticing and going in a different direction and not shitting on myself at the same time. Now, if you're shitting on yourself about it, that might be something to journal on or reflect on in whatever way you reflect. Maybe you go on a walk and take voice notes and say, why did I feel shitty about something that everybody else in the world does? And when I realize that these devices that we hold in our hands and carry in our pockets 24 hours a day, and hopefully not when you're sleeping, are designed to hijack your nervous system and your illicit dopamine signals all day long, that keeps you, quote unquote, addicted and on the phone. And knowing that science behind it is just a way to have more compassion for yourself, that it's not your fault, it's just your biology. And what can you do instead that is helpful for you? I have an email attached to in the show notes. Just if you have any questions on what to do instead, you're welcome to send me questions if you guys want to need tips on how to figure that out. My biggest things lately, the biggest service, like my funnest current service that I've been offering, is journaling. How to journal, because journal. I'm laughing because I say journal and I want to give it a different word, because I know when people hear the word journal, they feel the ick. And TBH, I think I went on a rant on this about this on an earlier episode. I'm gonna fucking say it again because I'm going to sing this until the cows come home. But journaling isn't like writing your whole life story and blah blah blah. Like, this is what happened to me when, like, as if I was a 12-year-old girl. Like, no, that is not what we're doing. And there's nothing wrong with doing it that way either. There's no shame in doing that. And honestly, like, who gives a fuck if it fucking works? Like, who gives a shit if you're journaling? And the other words for it is automatic writing. That's what I'm teaching to people. And there's so much medicine in this, because a lot of people don't know how to slow down and self-reflect and have self-awareness about what is going on with them, what are their patterns, why do I have these endless thoughts of guilt, shame, fear in my head? When those thoughts don't have to be your reality, that doesn't have to be anybody's reality. And it's something as simple as journaling that I teach. And I'm not saying that this is like the answer for anybody either. Like everybody's going to have their own answers. Like I'm very much not the person who's like, oh, this is the answer to all your problems. Like, be wary of people who do that. Like, one solution is not the answer to all. Like, for whatever reasons, journaling might not be accessible to other people. But in our modern world, if you live in a modern society or have privilege, journaling is something that is very accessible to you. And then maybe journaling might not be your jam. I started off hating journaling. I hated writing. So if I would be like, ugh, like my hand hurts or whatever. And let's just say I had to do other things first. And you would be surprised how other things, the skills of other things carry on to the things that you're trying to build. So if your energy wants to take you in another direction, trust that you needed to go there. You would learn something if you have a learning mindset, and that would carry on to the next thing you're interested in developing in yourself, in where your energy wants to take you. So trust that. All right, I'm going to end it right here because I love these little 20-ish minute episodes. And all right, you guys, I'll see you on the next one. Bye. Love ya.